I'm saying, did you address the strikers when you arrived at the
What
Kopi about what happened near the railway line?
That's what I'm asking, addressing them about what?
Let's deal with that. When you arrived at the Kopi, did you inform your fellow strikers that near the railway line you met police officer?
No, I did not say that.
Did you inform your fellow strikers that the police officers, they were against carrying of dangerous weapon?
I don't know that.
Did you inform your fellow strikers that 2 police officers were killed and 3 strikers were killed by the police?
What is the question again?
Did you inform your fellow strikers that 2 police officers were killed and 3 strikers were killed when you met strikers, when you met the police, when you confronted the police near the railway line?
No, I don't know that. I didn't say that.
Can you tell us what did you inform the strikers?
Like what?
About what happened near the railway line?
I do not know exactly what you mean. What is it that happened that I was supposed to tell them?
You speak, when you got back to the Kopi, did you speak to the strikers?
Tell
Tell the strikers anything.
Strikers
What happened near the road?
Mr. Chair, if it is said anything, then I wouldn't know exactly unless it could be pinpointed what it is that I said.
Well, I asked you a different question. I said, did you say anything at all to the strikers on the Kopi, telling them about anything that had happened near the railway line?
Mr. Chairman, if it's something that does not have a heading, then I would not be able to respond to it. What is it that is wanted from me?
No, we don't need a heading. Did you address the strikers when you got back to the Kopi after the incident near the railway line?
I said no, I don't know that.
Does that mean that you didn't address them?
That's why I'm asking, say, what is it that I'm supposed to have said?
I don't know what you said. I wasn't there.
And
all I want to know from you, did you say anything to them when you got back? Did you address them about anything?
The question is not clear, sir.
Did you address the strikers when you got back to the Kopi after the incident near the railway line about anything at all?
Emva kwesiganeko saphaya kuloliwe naphindela entabeni nonke ningabaqhankqalazi kukho into owayithetha ke apho senifikile mayelana nesi sigameko esasenzeke phaya kuloliwe.
Andithi ndafika mve entabeni ndasalimva.
I said, Chairperson, I remained behind. I arrived later at the mountain after the others.
Does that mean that when you arrived later on the mountain, you didn't address the strikers about what had happened, but anything that happened near the railway line?
into endithi awuba kuthiwa yinto so andinawazi intoni le nto ndayithetha intoni into.
I wouldn't know what it is that I'm alleged to have said unless I'm told this is what you said.
I'm not saying whether you were supposed to have said anything.
I
I want to know whether you said anything. That's all. I'm not suggesting to you you said anything. All I'm asking from you is whether you made any address at all, gave any address at all to the strikers when you got to the copy.
Ekufikeni kwakho
After the
apho kukhona
incident,
into wayithetha wena wayiveza kubo.
Into endayithetha inye ukuba ndafike ndathi kunomsebenzi olimele esimshiye emkhukhweni.
Except that there was one injured worker that we had left in the shack settlement.
When you arrived later on, sorry, Mr. Nkumbi, when you arrived later on, did you find Mr. Noki making a report back to the strikers at the Kopi?
Ekufikeni kwakho phaya emva kwexesha wafumana uNoki kunguyena owenza ingxelo kuba qhankqalazi ethetha na.
Ndafika nje ethetha ndazi uba uyithetha ntoni.
He was saying something, yes, but I wouldn't be able to say exactly what it is that he was saying.
And did you also there, after he finished, give a further report to the strikers?
Emveni koko kasethethile nawo wabesubaxelela ukuba intoni oyibonile yenzekileyo.
Ndathi kunomntu olimeleyo.
That's when I said to them there's an injured worker.
Yes, thank you.
Enkosi.
Okay. Mr. Nzuza, because of a time limit, I will try to...
Give you a couple of extra minutes for that. That wasn't... It's fair to debit you with that time spent.
Ixesha likamhlekazi uGumbi.
Thank you
Time
very much.
lapse wasn't due to anything you did.
But
Thank you very much, Shepherds.
extra time nyana.
Yeah. That's the only thing you said at the copy.
Yona phela into wayithetha ekopini.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. X who testified before this commission, he testified that Mambush, Bele, Pai, and Anele, they were present on the 13th of August 2012. Still remember that
Uthi
evidence.
umhlekazi uX waveza amabizo lawa asho ukuba babekhona bonke abantu entabeni. Mambush, uPayo, Anele nabanye.
You said they were,
Nen.
that Mr. X said they were present. I think in fairness to the witness, you should say where they were present so he can answer the question.
Umhlekazi uthi makamchazele okokuba
Yes,
uthi
Chairperson.
babekhona phi phaya entabeni.
At the railway line, Mr. X testified that Mambush, Bele, Anele, and Pai, they were there.
Uthi Mr. X uthi bonke phaya e-railway ababantu phaya kuloliwe ababantu ababiza ngamagama babekhona.
Hayi lo mbuzo ngamanga uyaxoka.
That is a lie. That question is a lie.
Do you know Bele?
Uyamazi uBhele?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was not present near the railway line.
Bengekho phaya kuloliwe.
Wayengekho.
No, he wasn't there.
Pai
Upai
Wayengekho.
wasn't there.
and Anele.
Wayengekho.
Wasn't there.
He testified that they were in possession of a firearm that they were taken from the securities on the 12th of August 2012.
Uthi bebephethe umpu lo wathathwa kwipolisa elasweleka phaya nge-12.
The securities.
Kwi-security.
Ndithi le nto ayithetha u-X nge-13 bubuxoki.
What Mr. X is saying about the 13th is a lie.
In conclusion, Mr. Nzuza, I see in your supplementary statement, you testified that on the 11th of August, you were part of the delegation that was sent to fetch Inyanga, that was tasked to go and fetch Inyanga.
Ndibona pha kwi-statement sakho kokuba nge-11 zika-Agost ngomnye wabantu kwaba babethunyelwa ukuba balande inyanga.
Ewe.
Yes.
Let us explore the role of Inyanga if the commission in fact finds that indeed on the 13th of August, the strikers were under the influence of Moti or Intelis, according to Mr. X.
Make sijonge lento eshiwo nguMr. X okokuba abaqhankqalazi nge-13 phaya bebaphansi baphansi kwefuthe lomthi babenziwa ngumthi benze izinto. Make sijongane naloo.
My question is, will you agree with me if I put to you the following preposition?
Uzawuvumelana nami xa ndiyibeka ngolu hlobo kuwe lento?
Inyanga has nothing to do with any labor dispute.
Inyanga ayingeni kwizinto imbambano zabaqeshi nomsebenzi ezemivuzo.
In fact, he is not an expert when it comes to labor dispute.
Uthi akuyongcali kwezo zinto ziphathelene nemivuzo inyanga.
Do you agree with me?
Uyavumelana nama?
Lo mbuzo ngenduphendula ndwazi.
I would not be able, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
It's fair enough. When you were sent to go and fetch Inyanga, Can you tell this commission the instruction that was given to you, or the instruction that you gave to Inyanga?
Ngangicela ukuba wawucelwe okokuba inyanga lena ufike uyiphe imiyalezo yokuthini.
Leyo ndiyazi uba ndanikwe imiyalezo.
I don't know what instructions you're talking about.
Did you talk to Inyanga on the 11th of August 2012?
Wathetha na inyanga nge-11th ka-August.
Ndandile kuyo.
I went to him, yes.
You are not answering my question, Mr. Nzuzo.
Awuphendule umbuzo wami.
My question is, did you talk to Inyanga
Umbuzo
on the
ukuthi
11th
wena
of
ngokwakho
August 2012?
wathethana nayo inyanga nge-11.
Andiva?
I can't hear you, sir.
Did you talk
Wathetha
to Inyanga
nenyanga
on the 11th
nge-11.
August 2012?
11th ka-August 2012.
Ewe.
Yes.
What did you say to Inyanga on that day?
Wathini kuyo ngaloo mini?
Afike ndayibulisa.
I came there, the first thing I greeted him.
What you said thereafter?
Emva koko,
Ayikho enye into endayithethayo.
nothing further.
The other fellow strikers who were there, you were present when they talked to Inyanga?
Aba banye wawuhambe nabo apho wawukhona xa bethetha nenyanga.
Ndiva umbuzo wakho?
Your question is what, sir?
The other strikers who were there, they talked to Inyanga, is not so?
Andithi bathetha na inyanga aba banye baqhankqalazi wawunabo apho.
Andibazi.
I don't know them.
You just greeted the Inyanga, then you disappeared.
Uthi wena wafika wabulisa nje waphuma wahamba.
Ndabulisa.
I said I greeted him.
What did you hear after that? You greeted Inyanga, the other fellow strikers, they were there, is not so?
Wabulisa inyanga wena bekhona aba banye wawuhamba nabo andithi.
Yaziwa ngabo abo bathini.
They would know what they said.
You did not hear them talking to Inyanga.
Awuzange ubeve xa bethetha nayo.
Ndithi yaziwa ngabo andibazi uba bathetha bathini.
I don't know what it is that they said. They wouldn't know better what they said.
Mr. Nzuza, I'm trying to understand your evidence. You know.
Zama ukuvisisa ubungqina bakho Mhlekazi Nzuza.
And I am here because I represent the police officer who were killed on the 13th of August 2020.
Ndize apha ngoba ndimele amapolisa lawa abulawa ngaloo mini.
And there's evidence that was adduced in this commission that the Inyanga play an important role on that day.
Kukho ubungqina ke obuvele apho kokuba le nyanga yathatha khona umsebenzi eyawenza yathatha ingxaxheba kuyo yonke lento eyenzeka.
And there's evidence that was adduced in this commission that near the railway line, strikers, they were under influence of Umuto in delays.
Kunobungqina bokuba yonke lento beyenziwa ngabaqhankqalazi phaya ku-railway kwakulifuthe babelinikwe imuthi lebabeyinike inyanga.
Into andiyazi.
That I don't know.
That's why I'm probing this aspect with you, because I do believe that as you are standing there, you are approaching this commission with clean hands.
With?
Clean hands.
Uthi ndicinga okokuba njengoba uze apha uze ngezandla eziclean okokuba uzothetha yonke inyani.
You agree with me?
Uyavumelana nami? Yes.
So that's why I'm asking you that when you met Inyanga, I want to know the instruction that was given to Inyanga by your fellow strikers.
Ngako ke ndibuzo okokuba intoni eyaxelelwa inyanga emiyalelo yini imiyalezo yakhutshwa ngaba baqhankqalazi ohamba nabo kwinyanga ukuba yenze ntoni.
Yaziwa ngabantu abayithe abebethetha nayo.
The people who said those things would be better, in a better position to know.
Right. I'm not going to pursue that question anymore. But I will argue at the end of the day.
Were you with them when they spoke to the Inyanga?
Wawunabo xa bethetha nenyanga.
Yayingabo abebethetha zange ndithetha.
They spoke, Chairperson. I did not.
An answer to the question.
Ayakumphendula kumbuzo wami.
Were you with them when they spoke?
Umbuzo uthi ube ukunye nabo na xa bethetha.
Xa bebethetha.
When they spoke.
Yes, when they spoke.
Ewe.
Ndithi into abebethetha ndiyazi.
I am saying
abebethetha besithini.
I do not know what it is that they said when they spoke, Chairperson. Umbuzo ukuthi wawukhona nabo apho xa bethetha.
My mic was off. Were you with them when they spoke to the Inyanga?
Wawukunye nabo apho xa bethetha nenyanga.
Le ndithi andazi ngoba ndandiyazi andizayikhumbula uba ndandindawoni.
What I'm saying is I don't remember exactly where I was at the time they spoke.
But at the end of the day, Mr. Nzuza, did you manage to come back with that inyanga?
Ekugqibeleni ke neza nayo inyanga.
Andovumbuzo?
Not clear questions.
Okay. Did you manage to come back with that
Naphumelela ukuthi nize nayo inyanga.
Sabuya sodwa thina.
We came back alone.
Then you left the inyanga behind.
Naishiya ekhaya inyanga.
Ewe.
Yes.
Did you see inyanga again?
Uphinde wayibona lo nyanga.
Phi?
Where?
At any place between the
Noma
13, from the 11 until the 16.
Phakathi kwe-11 ne-16.
Andovumbuzo?
Question is not clear.
Between the 11 and the 16.
Phakathi
Throughout
kwale
the 16.
mini yomhla ka-11 kude kuyobetha umhla ka-16 imini owayibona ngayo le nyanga.
Did you see inyanga again between those two periods?
Phakathi kwala
Phi?
maxesha amabili.
Ndiyibona phi?
Seeing him where, sir?
At any place
Noma.
in Ghana.
Ayo, andovumbuzo wakho bobhekisana.
Question is not really clear what's intended to be conveyed here.
Let's find, let's take it step by step. On the 11th,
Masithathe kancinci.
you met inyanga. On the 11th of August,
Andithi nadibana nayo ngayibona
You met
nge-11
inyanga.
inyanga.
Yeah.
Yes.
then you left inyanga behind, is not so?
Nayishiya nangahambi nayo andithi.
Ewe.
That's right.
And you did not see inyanga after that day,
Emva koko awuzange uphinde uyibone inyanga.
on the 11th of August.
Nge-11.
Ngwaziphinda ndibona ekwephi indawo.
If you say where, when, and where did I see him, it would be
At
clear.
any place.
Noma kuphi.
Vele ndayibona ikhona endaweni.
I saw him present on the mountain, yes.
When did you see the nyanga at the
Kwakunini ke xa uyibona phaa entabeni?
Andisakhumbula.
I don't remember.
Is it the 12th?
Kwakunge-12.
Tete andisakhumbula.
I say I don't remember.
Tell me, you are an experienced mine worker. Whenever there is a dispute between the employer and the employee, is it a normal practice to engage the services of inyanga?
Uthi njengomntu onamava ke njengomsebenzi wasezimayini xa kukho imbambano phakathi kwenu nabaqeshi sisichelo kokuba kuye kubizwe umuntu oyinyanga.
Andiyazi leyo.
I don't know that.
When you address the strikers on the 16th, we saw Mr. Matunja was present there, and he is a union leader.
Nge-16 phaya kukhona uMathunja sakubona uthetha phaya and uMathunja lona inkokeli yombutho wabasebenzi.
Still remember that?
Uyayikhumbula loo nto?
Awe ndandikhona.
I was there, yes.
Did you inform Mr. Matunja that you've engaged the services of inyanga in your labor dispute?
Namxelela uMathunja kokuba nizise inyanga apho.
Wayengazanga kuloo nto.
That was not the purpose of him being there.
But you are not answering my question.
Awuphendula umbuzo wami.
I'm saying to you, did you inform Mr. Matunja that you had engaged the services of inyanga?
Wamxelela uMathunja kokuba niyena funa usizo lenyanga.
Wayengazanga kuloo nto.
No, the purpose of Mathunja being there wasn't that.
As a leader, did you inform your fellow strikers that, look guys, I had engaged the services of inyanga to assist us in our
Njengomnye wenkokheli ke abana ninabo xabakho wabaxelela kokuba hey bafondini jongana apha siye safuna usizo lomuntu oyinyanga.
Bingengomsebenzi wami lo.
Yeah. I just wanted to object to that question because I don't know what the basis of it is. That he would have told his fellow strikers that they've employed the services of an Nyanga to help them in a labor dispute. There's no evidence that the Nyanga was ever called to assist in a labor dispute.
Uyibeka ngolo hlobo umhlekazi uMpofu
Just
bayi
to rephrase the question.
akazokuba ivelaphi lento yokuba inyanga yayibizela izinto eziphathelene nezomsebenzi phaya.
Yes, Chairperson, I can rephrase it.
Bathi makawubuze ngendlela umhlekazi uGumbi.
Mr. Nzuza, you agree with me that
Chairperson, if I might just assist, in cross-examination yesterday by Mr. Simenya, the witness said that there were two reasons why they had the inyanga. One was to protect themselves against witchcraft. Two, in their dealings with the employer, so that the employer can listen to them on their demand.
Uthi umama baloyivele izolo kubunqina xa ubuza ngomhlekazi oSimenya kokuba uveze izathu ezimbili kokuba inyanga lena inkhusela kwizinto ezifana nezokuthakatha. Enye ke into iyenze okokuba abaqeshi babe nokumamela lento enzoyithetha.
Yes, I am indebted chairperson to my colleagues for assisting.
Sorry, before you are indebted, then the question, chairperson, must be asked on that narrow basis about lack in talking to the employer, not in the labor dispute generally.
I understood that Mr. Gumbi was going to reformulate the question. And
good.
I assumed he was going to reformulate it in the light of
Well, I hope your assumption is correct.
Well, we'll see. Mr. Gumbi?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Mr. Nzuza, earlier on I asked you that Nyanga, the Nyanga has nothing to do with labor dispute. In fact, he's not a mediator when it comes to dispute between you, the employee, and the employer. Still remember that?
Ndathi umuntu onjengenyanga akaphathelene nezinto ezifana nezemsebenzi ngoba akungomuntu okwazi ukungenela uthethathethwana. The question is not clear again.
I said, I asked you earlier on that Nyanga has nothing to do with labor dispute between you, the employee, and the employer. He's not an expert when it comes to labor dispute.
Uthi ndithe kuwe inyanga akuyongqali kwizinto zemisebenzi eziphathelene nemisebenzi. Ngakho ke akananto angayenza kuba usizo.
Still remember that?
If you could clarify your question again, sir.
I said, Inyanga has nothing to do with any labor dispute between you, the employees, and the employer. In fact, Inyanga is not an expert when it comes to labor disputes.
Uthi umuntu onjengenyanga akangeni kwizinto eziphathelene nezemivuzo imbambano phakathi kwabasebenzi nomqeshi wabo ngoba engeyona ingqali kwezo zinto. I don't know that.
Right. When you engage the services of Inyanga in that labor dispute, we know very well that there was a labor dispute between you and the employer loan mill about the salary of 12,500.
Siyazi kakhulu lento ngoba imbambano ephakathi kwenu no loan mill eyokubana nifuna imfuno zenu zazo ngu-12,500 kwakuyona imbambano le.
You agree with me on that?
Uyavumelana nama? Yes, we wanted money.
So, what was the purpose of engaging Inyanga if your demand was 12,500 rand?
Ngoba nanifuna le 12,500 isizathu esenza ukuba nibize inyanga yintoni? What is your question?
Why did you engage Inyanga?
Yintoni na biza ukuba
because
inyanga apho? Ngoba
your demand was 12,500.
Imfuno zenu kumqeshi kwakungu 12,500.
As
you are saying it, you were demanding money, you wanted money.
Then you decided to engage the services of Inyanga.
Nabese nibona okokuba nibize kubekho inyanga. To come and do what?
Going to assist you in your labor demand of
12,500. Izonlekelela kwezi mfuno zenu zemali. That I don't know.
So, that Nyanga, if I can go back again, you said you saw it again. Still remember that?
Andithi uthi uphinde wayibona emveni kwexesha lenyanga. Yes.
Was it on the 16th?
Kwakunge 16.
Aye.
No.
Do you know what was the role of Inyanga?
Umsebenzi walenyanga phaya kwakuyintoni kahle? I said to you, we engage in services in order that we be right, that he protects us against things such as witchcraft and so on.
All the other employees that they were there, that they were on strike, they were quite aware that the Nyanga was engaged in order to protect you.
Bonke abasebenzi ababe kulukhanqalazo phaya bestrikile babesazi okokuba inyanga lena ize phaya ukunikhusela kwezo zinto. In whatever it is that he believed in. Some believed in prayers and some believed in others.
But you are not answering my question, Mr. Nzuza.
Uphendula umbuzo wami Mhlekazi Nzuza.
I'm saying your fellow strikers who were there,
aba nani nabo oqabakho,
they were on strike, ne?
Andithi babe striking.
My question is, were they aware that you had engaged the services of Inyanga to assist?
Bebanalo na ulwazi lokuba nibize inyanga le. Anyone who was there had his own belief. He believed in whatever he believed in.
So can I draw a conclusion that you are not prepared to answer my question?
No, Chairperson, I think that's a very unfair question and aspersion. Mr. Gumbi asked the witness, as he's entitled to do, whether everybody there believed in Inyanga. And the witness says everyone was there, had their own beliefs. Some believed in prayer, some believed in whatever. And now he says the witness doesn't want to answer the question.
I think Mr. Mpofi didn't understand my question. I didn't ask the witness whether he believed.
And then you can imagine about the witness.
I didn't ask the witness whether he believed.
My understanding of the question was different from Mr. Mpofi. Perhaps you can repeat it to see whether my understanding was correct?
Yes. Mr. Nzuza, my question is, other employees who were there, who were on strike, were they aware that you had engaged the services of Inyanga? I didn't ask whether they believe in Moti or Inyanga or whatever belief.
You don't have to go there. You simply asked him, were they aware
Yes.
that you'd engaged the services of the Inyanga?
That's
What's the
my
answer
question.
to that?
There was nothing secret there. You could also see what was happening.
So you were engaged, according to your statement, to fetch the Inyanga. Did the Inyanga come back with you to the Kopi?
Andithi kwakuthiwe nilande inyanga. Yeza nani ekopini inyanga. Yabuya nani?
Zange ze nathi.
No, he didn't come together with us back to the Kopi.
Did he eventually come to the Kopi?
Kuthembeni kwexesha yafika.
Nditshilo.
I have said so, yes.
What? Sorry, one Inyanga or two?
Kwakuyinyanga eyodwa kanti nizazibini.
Hayi ke andiyazi apho kodwa babebaninzi babengekho babini nababepha kwa-10.
There were many, Chairperson, not 1, 2. I think about 10.
10 Inyangas came.
Is Nyangas in
Is that
10?
what you're saying?
Andiyazi uba izinyanga zintoni kodwa abantu babepha babeyi-10.
There are about 10 people. I don't know if all of them were Nyangas.
And what did they do when they got to the Kopi?
Bafika benza ntoni apho?
Ndova umbuzo wakho.
The question is not clear, Chairperson. The question is not clear, Chairperson.
What did the 10 people do that you approximately 10 people do when they came to the Kopi?
Bafika benza ntoni apho entabeni?
Andiva kakuhle lo mbuzo.
Question is not very clear to me.
What is unclear about the question? You
In
told
Dono
us that about 10 people came. You don't know if they all were in Yangas, but presumably some of them were.
Abangabayi-10
They
mhlawumbe.
came to the Kopi. You told us all the people of the Kopi could see them. So, we'd see what. Now I'm asking you, what were they doing?
Uthi ke bonke abantu babebabona
What
kungekho
did you see
mfihlo
them
apho.
doing?
Wena wababona besenza ntoni?
Kwakuhlamba abantu ba.
People who were washing there, sir.
Is that all they did?
Phela kwento babenza.
Ewe.
Yes.
In conclusion, Mr. Nzuza,
Apha ke ekugqibeleni thanda ukuthi Mhlekazi Nzuza.
hence I'm representing the family of the late Warrant Officer Lepaku and Lieutenant Baloyi, who was injured on the
Njengoba
13th
nimele
of August
ababantu
2012.
umfi uLephaku nowenzakala uLieutenant Baloyi.
Is there anything that you want to say to the family of the late Warrant Officer Lepaku? Hence, you were with your fellow strikers when he was killed.
Ngoba wawungomnye waba bantu babeqhankqalaza apho ungomnye wabo. Kukho into othanda ukuyithetha kwizalamani zabo aba bantu abonzakala nabasweleka lamapolisa.
Ndivelana nabo buhlungu njengabanye.
Like all other people, I sympathize with the families.
Are you prepared to give information to the police about any facts surrounding the killing of the police near the railway line?
Uzimisele na okokuba ungaveza noma intoni kumapolisa ebaza kuyidinga emaqondana nokusweleka kwaba babini.
Ayingomsebenzi wami lo.
That is not my duties.
If the police officer were to approach you, will you give them that information?
Amapolisa angeza akwazi ukubuza into ethize uzabanika lo ngxelo.
Ayingomsebenzi wami lo.
So I say it's not my duties.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I don't have further question.
Enkosi Mhlekazi.
Mr. Rampele, you next. You've got 45 minutes according to my notes. I don't know whether you'll need the full 45 minutes, but that's your allotment. But don't just fill up the time just to fill it up. But,
probably not, Chair, because you see, in relation to my client, there's only one paragraph of the witness evidence. But let me start.
So I would think that some of the things you were proposing to cover may well have been covered already.
They have been, just that.
Please proceed.
Let's see how it goes, Chair. Mr. Nzuza, thank you very much. My name is Tepiso Rampel, and I'm representing the families of Mr. Mabebe and
Tepiso Rampel family Mabebe,
and also the security guard, Mr. Mabelani.
No, Mr. Mabelani. Yes.
And I have been instructed by the families to try and persuade you to actually acknowledge that these deaths were caused by the fellow strikers.
Uthi ke ucela izifamily ezi azimeleyo ukuba akwenze uduvumo uvumo into yokuba ukufa kwabantu athethe ngabo kudalwe ngabaqhankqalazi.
And that these families will much appreciate if, as one of the strikers, you can acknowledge and just apologize. That's, the sum total of what these families are requesting.
Xa ndishwankathela ke yonke into efuna zezi family into yokuba ke uzame ke ukuyivuma loo nto leyo uyicelela uxolo loo ndawo leyo.
Andiyazi yonke loo nto uyithethayo.
I have no knowledge of all that you are saying now, sir.
But in order to give you context of why we believe that at least you must give this apology, I want to set the setting of this incident.
Uzawuyaleka yondlale lento esisiganeko njengoba besho beziva into yokuba fanele ubavele ucela uxolo ngale nto.
Because without setting the setting of the incident, you sometimes have a dispute on how you characterize what has happened.
Ngoba ngaphandle kokuba siyondlalele lento esisiganeko kuzawuba nempikiswano uba uyibeke kweliphi izinga okanye isigaba salento yenzekileyo. Uba uyibona njani lento yenzekileyo.
And you agree with me that there was a lot of debate around whether this was a criminal act or whether it was a labor dispute.
Ngoba uzawuvumelana nami uba kuke kwaba nengxoxo mpikiswano enkulu ngendaba yokuba ngaba lento yenzeke pha ebe ingxaki nje yabasebenzi nomqashi okanye ibe bubugebengu.
Andiwuva umbuzo wakho.
But I don't understand the question.
I say there was a lot of debate, and in your evidence you also said management said that they did not know those murderers on the mountains, and all that we wanted was money.
Ngokumpikiswano waloko eninzi akangade akabuza umbuzo ngokusatsho nje usayondlalela lento ukuba nawe ke okanye nani nitshilo ukuba imanagement abaphathi baselonweni bathi ababazi aba bantu bapha abababulali bapha. Into nini nanifuna imali nje.
Sasifuna imali thina.
Yes, we only wanted money.
The context that I would like to set is that we agree with you that you are a child of a person who was an RDO.
Siyavumelana futhi nawe into yokuba ungunyana womuntu waye-RDO kwaye.
Andiwuva umbuzo wakho.
I do not understand the question.
I say your evidence is that your father was an RDO employee at Lonmin.
Umungqina ke buthi kaloku utata wakho naye yayi RDO pha eLonmin. Andit?
Long me utata. Nini.
At Lonmin my father when?
If that's not your evidence, you just say no, it's not true.
Bakaloku ayibubo umngqina ndi wrong xa ngisho njalo ngatsho nje bayi ayonyani lot abunjalo.
Utata isebenza pha eLonmin.
Yes, my father worked for Lonmin.
And I'm sure as a young person, you would have wanted to achieve more in your life, but because of the circumstances at home, you also end up in Lonmin as a mine worker.
Ethemba ke nawe ukhule unamaphupho ukuba uphumelele empilweni kodwa ke ngenxa yemeko yasekhaya ugqibele nawe usebenza eLonmin andit?
Andova actually umbuzo ubusi ngisiphi.
I do not understand where you're leading with that question.
I'll ask. I'll continue asking. Maybe as I'm asking, you will understand. And that what Mr. Matunjwa said was that, and this is under cross-examination by myself.
Mr. Matunjwa utheke ngeli xesha.
The purpose of this was to ensure that there was dignity of the workers.
Injongo yayo yonke lento yokwenza into ba kube nesidima abasebenzi babe nesidima nesizotha.
Ebethethwa nguye indima.
He's the one who said that, not me.
Do you agree that the issue of being given the money that you complained about resulted in the indignity and the conditions that maybe you lived under, resulted in the indignity of workers?
Uyavuma ke lento yale mali benifuna ichaphazela imeko beniphila ngayo njengabasebenzi nesithunzi senu. Amema gama ukufumana le mali bekuzaphucula ezo meko.
Walo.
Yes.
And that this indignity was so severe that as workers, you had to go to a place so far away from where decisions are made about money and going there to talk about how you want your wages to be raised. Instead of being next to the boardroom of Lonmin, you are far in the mountains to talk about your wages having to be raised.
Lento ke ukunyathelwa kwalo malungelo enu mayelana nesizotha nesidima senu bibaleka ngokuba nasuka nakufutshane nabaphathi abaselonmin apha ezofisini zabo naya kude pha entabeni niyothetha ngayo le.
Ndova umbuzo wakho?
I don't understand the question.
I say you are so removed from where decisions are made as a stakeholder in the mine that instead of being at least closer to where these decisions are made, you have to go up the mountain to talk about your own wages.
Isigqibo zezimali pha eLonmin ndizithethwa kwapha yathi naseLonmin kwi-office zabo kodwa nina naniyithetha nikude lento yemali pha entabeni angekho board meetings apha.
And as you say, for your own safety, in your evidence, you had to go to the mountain for your own safety.
And uthi ke naya entabeni pha for ukhuseleko lwenu.
Chairperson, I don't want to disturb my learned colleague, particularly because I can sympathize with him. He wasn't here for many months here. So maybe he was not aware that the workers on the 10th actually went to the boardroom, to LPD.
I think that's the point he's leading up to, that they tried to go and speak to them at the boardroom,
and later,
or near the boardroom, the time office, and they were told that you can't.
Yes.
And then they had to go to the mountain, they say, for their own safety. He's leading up. I think everything he's put so far is actually in accordance with
it's
your
going
case.
there, okay?
Yes.
So I don't see a problem.
Yes, thank you. Do you agree?
Can you please repeat the question?
Okay, let me carry on because I don't have much time. I will carry on. In your evidence, you say that on the 11th, you were on your way to work.
Or is it the 10th?
You will correct me there.
Correct.
Bengethen ebusuku.
It was on the night of the 10th.
And that on your way to work, you meet 5 co-workers, and you know one of them, and they ask you, where are you going?
Endleleni ke njalo wadibana nabanye abasebenzi abahlanu omnye wabo uyamazi kwabantu bahlanu bakubuza ba uyaphi. Yes.
And that you inform them that you're on your way to work, and after you have left them, stones are hurled from their direction.
Wabaxelela wena ba uya emsebenzini emva koba usukile ke kubo kwaba namatye agidiselwayo isuka ngakubo kwelicala lapho.
Andiyazi ke lo kange ndithetha.
No, I don't know about that. I never said so.
May I call up the transcript? I think it's page 35459.
You better give the day that to enable the operator to find it.
Oh, it has to be. I think it's. Oh, there it comes.
The operator didn't need the assistance for the day. He's found it.
All right, I didn't have the day.
277. What's the page you want?
35459.
That's the page on the screen at the moment.
Line 10, and I will read it to you, and the interpreter may interpret. Along the way, I came across 4 people. They asked me where I was going to. I said to them, I'm going to work. One of them happened to know me. He said, I know this person. They were not standing very close to me. A distance of about 5 meters, they stood and spoke to me. They made me pass. I was not very far away from them. After stones were thrown at me from them, I turned around and ran to the house. That's where I further heard in the house that there's nobody going to work. There would be a meeting in the stadium in the following morning. Result of which, let me repeat this, result of which I woke up and then went to the meeting. Do you remember that part of the evidence?
Landa ndithe mna ndidlule kubo. Xa ndigqibodlula kubo ndeva ngamatye kange ndithi asuka kubo. So ukuthi abantu bebeyitolika la kange ize straight ndithe mna ndidlule kubo. Xa ndigqibodlula kubo kunakwavela amatye kange ndithi asuka kwi direction yabo.
My evidence was that I passed them, walked past them, then I heard the stones being hurled. I never said the stones were coming from their direction. Yeah. That might have been incorrectly interpreted.
Okay. I accept that. But in any event, I think there's an agreement that after this incident, the following day, actually, after the stone throwing, you turned back and you did not go to work. At least there is that agreement.
Yes, because that was in the felt. I did not know what would happen ahead if I proceed.
Okay.
And that,
Chairperson, okay. Again, as the witness just said, I think there's something wrong with the interpretation. He said, say, Latini, and then it was interpreted as it was in the felt.
Ihlathi xa ihlathi uthetha indawo enemithi okanye ihlathi nje sesigangeni.
Lesi sigangeni lana inemithi nenthile indawo enemithi emikhulu. Sesigangeni.
Yes, because there are trees, it can be said it's in the forest or in the bushes.
yes, and then when you get back home, you are informed that nobody is going to work. And as a result of that, the following day you go to the stadium.
Xa ufika ke ekhaya uyaxelela uba khomntu uya emsebenzini ngenxa yoko usuku olandelayo waya estadium. Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to draw a parallel between this evidence and what might have happened to my clients. Let's say Mabebe.
Ufuna ke ukuthelekisa obumnqina nento engabe yenzekile kulo muntu endimele Mabebe.
Let's say Mabebe never had anyone saying nobody is going to work, and then was at shaft 4, at shaft K4, and then he was attacked.
Masithi ke mhlambe uMabebe yena khanga ivele into ba akho muntu uya emsebenzini and bepha K4 wahlaselwa.
Andinawazi ukumpendulela nimazi nami ba wenza njani.
Then answer on his behalf. I don't know what he did.
Yes, but no, I'm just trying to draw a parallel. I know you don't know. I'm saying, assuming that he was in the same situation that you were in at the time he was at K4, and he had not known that nobody should go to work, and he was killed in the manner he was killed.
Ndaqonda uyazi kodwa ke ndiyalinganisa nje ndathelekisa masithi naye befana nawe bekule meko ifana nawe engazi into ngalento kuba akho umuntu uya emsebenzini waya ke pha kula shaft yakhe semsebenzini wahlasela.
Leyo ngeke ndiuphendule ngoba ngumlinganiselo mos.
That's a presumption. I cannot answer on that.
Yes. So you see, in that kind of situation, and I know you, and I'm trying to persuade you to see my point, but I know I can fail, so it's not a problem. I'm saying that he was in the same situation as you were, just that maybe in your case, you were lucky to be able to run away and go back home. He couldn't.
Dithi masithi ke yena uMabebe ebekule meko na ubukuyo esemsebenzini engazinto kodwa wena waba nelakhi wakwazi ukubaleka uye ekhaya nakakwazanga.
Mna.
Me?
Yes. And that is the reason why I say then it means that you could have been Mabebe.
Yiyo lento ke ndithi nawe ubungazifumana ukweza sihlangu zika Mabebe. Lento ngamanye amagama enze kuMabebe bingenzeka nakuwe.
Hayi awunafanisa omnye umuntu nami mina ndingixola ndindodwa nanifanisa nomnye umuntu baba.
No, you can't compare me to someone else. I'm Xolani, I'm alone.
And that in that kind of situation, if you are attacked on your way to work and you had died, you could have died in a situation where you were actually not wrong of anything. You just thought you were going to work.
Mamela ke umuntu onjalo ahlaselwayo esemsebenzini afe abulawo. Lo muntu bezabe ubulewe emsulwa khonto embi ayenzileyo behamba nje eziyele emsebenzini.
Leyo andinoyazi.
I didn't know about that.
And that I'm sure if you were in that circumstance, your family could at least have expected that those that were associated with that incident would say, we are sorry.
And ndiqinisekile uba ibe nguwe lo setha ngayo wavelelwa lelo lishwa. Ifamily yakho ibizawulindela uba aba bantu babandakanyekayo kuloo nto leyo ufa kwakho bacele uxolo.
well, you don't have to comment.
Noba ungaphendulanga lapho khona.
I will then go to Mabelane.
Sawuya ke ngoku uMabelane.
No,
You saw on...
Chairperson,
Sorry.
I just want to understand that question. Is council suggesting that because he said he's drawing parallels, that the people who stopped Mr. Zuza in some forest were people that he should apologize for? I don't understand.
Mr. Mpofu aqonge noba abantu wena baye badibana nabo
phakathi. What do you say about that point that Mr. Mpofu was raised?
Well, all I'm saying is there is. I have not had evidence that the strikers or protesters were not involved in the Mabebe case. We're not saying any specific person, but the strikers or protesters as a group were, because of the anger and trying to address the issue, committed certain acts. And those strikers are the same strikers that were on the copy, unless there were more than one group of strikers, which evidence has not been presented. And I'm saying, and especially I'm saying that unless, because my understanding of the cause of the strikers was that we want to correct the situation. In that process, if wrongs happen, it is for this noble group to say, we committed a wrong. And let's agree that, it was never our intention to hurt these families, but wrongs were committed during our course. And we apologize. I'm not saying that you did it, Mr. Nzuza. I'm not pointing a finger at anyone. I'm saying this happened during a course.
Abaqhankqalazi bebenento abayifunayo mhlambi isemthethweni lonto abayifunayo kodwa ke kwezo nzame zabo kwenzeka ishwangusheliso.
Sorry, Chairperson, I'm not quite sure what's happening now. I made an objection and my learned friend replied, responded to it. Can I reply to what he has just said? Thank you. Yes, the issue, Chairperson.
What had happened was the interpreter was interpreting what Mr. Randall said.
Oh, yes, thank you. No, it sounded as if he was putting the question to him, but yes, I understand. Thank you. The issue, I don't question what my learned colleague has said about strikers in a copy and all that. The only issue I'm saying is that because what seems to be implied in the question he put is that this witness must apologize for something or another. Now, all I was saying is that insofar as he has taken us through a journey where he draws a parallel between this witness and Mr. Mabebe, and he called up the transcript and so on and so on, is the implication that he's seeking to draw that if he says Mr. Mabebe could have been in the situation that he was in on the 10th, where he met those 5 people and he was stoned and so on and so on, is he now saying that this witness must apologize for his own assailants, the people that, because those people on the 10th, there was no copy and none of that by then. Is that the implication of the question?
I understand that to be an objection. It's really a question addressed to Mr. Rampele, which he may wish to answer. Let me
put it this way then, because he has already answered it in the form of a question. I'm objecting to the question on that basis.
I don't think the basis objection taken is justified. I allow the question.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair. I only have 2 minutes now.
imizuzu.
I want to go to the issue of Mr. Mabelane.
Masekumabelane ngoku.
See, if you remember, I don't know whether you were here all the time, there was a time when the protesters that wanted money, 12,500, and the security officers were so close, and there was no danger to the security officers. Actually, the security officer was reversing with the strikers almost 2 meters away from them. That is the relationship that we saw on one of the videos. And this was, I think, on the 10th.
Apho kwenye ivideo sayibona apho abakhankalazi bebefuna le mali 12,500 bebekufutshane ne-security kungekho ngozi pha kuma security kangoba bebereversa bekufutshane nje mhlawumbe into engabazi iminti ezimbili ngathi sibonile ivideo njani.
Ndiyazi ke leyo.
I do not know about that.
Okay. And the impression, at least from that video, was that the security officers of Lonmin and the strikers they could be very close together, with security officers trying to do their job, trying to stop them or whatever. But in most instances, there was never violence between the strikers and the security officers.
Umuntu kangayibona ngathi ke lanto bayakwazi baba khankalazi abasebenzi bayokufutshana nama security ngabe khonto imbi yenzekayo ama security bengayibonakala njengabantu abaziqhubekela nomsebenzi wabo nje ngabe kho ubudlobongela yenzekayo. I don't understand the question.
I'm saying that ordinarily there was no violent interaction between protesters in Lonmin and security officers. Well, Chair, they say, well, let me just say as a comment, the last comment. You see, if you don't describe your cause, someone will describe it for you.
Bangabeke wena uchazi ikhosi yenu indlela beniyenza nento benijonge kuyo.
And my understanding of this cause is that it is a justified cause where you actually say our conditions are bad and they have to be improved.
And mna ndibona ngathi beninalo ilungelo lalento beniyenza ngoba nithi imeko zenu zimbi zifuna ukulungiswa sibuculo.
And my clients were going to benefit, and even their children, because actually what happened in Marikana gave a clear indication that there's a problem in the mining industry. The problem for which you also in your own family say you are trapped. But now, depending on how you're going to treat these families of your co-workers, they can describe you as someone who is against them or who was trying to assist them.
You say so, sir.
So you won't apologize?
Oh, for doing what?
Not for you, but for what happened to these families, and with clear evidence that it is the protesters that were wanting money that caused the deaths of my clients.
Ungaxolisi ngento eyenziwe nguwe kodwa ngobungqina obesibonayo nina abasebenzi nanifuna imali and abantu bameleyo basweleke okanye babulewe kwezo nzame zenu zofuna lo
umuntu uxolisa ngento ayenzileyo.
One would apologize for what they've done.
So you did not agree with the cause of the strikers. Is that what you're saying?
So awuvumelani ke nalempi oludabi beluliwa ngabaqhankqalazi babe silwela into enje sinemfuno ezinje.
Chairperson, I wish to object to that question.
Okay.
Yes.
What's wrong with the question?
Yes, I'm just about to tell you. The question is framed like this. So you don't agree with the cause of the strikers. In other words, it pretends to emanate from the answer that the witness gave.
Mr. Mpela, do you modify the question in the light of the objection taken by... I'm holding objection. Mr. Mpela, do you modify your question in the light of Mr. Mpofu's objection?
No, Chairperson, that's not the only thing I'm objecting to. If I can finish my objection.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. So, this kind of this line of questioning, Chairperson, is being pursued for the second time, and I think it's important that you allow me to put into context why I'm objecting to it, because it's very, 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 very important for the work of this commission, particularly on the issue of reconciliation, which I think is being undermined by this line of questioning. This witness, Chairperson, has said more than once in this commission that he sympathizes with the families, that he's hurt for their loss, and that the people who killed their loved ones should be arrested and put to jail. And an opportunity, a very golden opportunity of that kind of statement reaching out to the other families is being lost by this avarice for an apology. The witness has said many times he has nothing to apologize for because he himself did not do anything. And he has explained it time and again. But because of that, the fact that he has reached out to these families is being lost. And he has said that anyone, whether it's a striker or a moonwalker, who is found to have killed their loved ones deserves to go to jail. And that he sympathizes with them, and this is the first time that that kind of statement is being made by someone who was, as it were, on the other side of the divide that we're talking about. This commission is not just about apology and blame and finding who's guilty. It's about reconciling these people. And this is despicable that we are saying, someone who has said for 2 days that while I have nothing to apologize for, and it has now even been suggested that he must apologize for the people who threw stones at him, which I cannot fathom to understand, or the people that are said might have killed him. He must come here and say, I apologize for them. What is that? We're losing the essence of this commission, Chairperson, and that's the basis of my objection.
Thank you. You may not, Mr. Mpofu may not like the question. He may not think, and he may well have good reasons for so thinking, that the question is unfortunate, but I don't think it's a reason for me to disallow the question. You may proceed, Mr. Mbele.
But, Chairperson, I thought you had said you had already upheld the objection. Are you reversing that decision?
I upheld the objection on the way it was framed. You complained. You had 2 points. The one was that the frame of the question implied that something that the witness had said, and I think you complained about the word "so," and I upheld that objection, suggested the question to be reformulated.
But
you then, as I understood it, went on to say that in any event, even as reformulated, you objected to the question,
yes,
and you gave reasons why you considered it unfortunate. You used stronger language than that. Unfortunate the question was asked. And I've given my ruling, and that's the matter. That's the end of the matter. Given my ruling, you may well have good reasons for thinking that the question is unfortunate, but I don't think it's a basis for me to disallow Mr. Rampella ask the question. It's his last question anyway. Mr. Rampella, please proceed.
in your statement, maybe I should try and give some sort of background of why I say.
We haven't got time for that.
Yes.
Your time is up. I'm actually being. I'm trying to help you.
It was just going to be one question and then go back to that question.
I'm applying the rules in the time limits flexibly because you've had a number of interruptions which have eaten into your time. So that's why I'm allowing you to ask the question, reformulate it, to take out the first ground of objection which I've upheld. And then I'm afraid that's the end of your time. But please ask the question in a reformulated way.
Thank you. Mr. Nzuza, I'm not saying that you are guilty of anything, but in your statement you gave an indication that you heard, and the report which you did not oppose, that there was a skirmish between the protesters and security. And we know that out of that skirmish, there was death.
Akathi wena ngokwakho unetyala kodwa ebungqineni nobakho siyazi uba kuye kwaba nongquzulwano phakathi kwabaqhankqalazi ne-security eye yakhokelela ekufeni ke lo kodwa khangathi wena ngokwakho.
It is an unfortunate incident of what resulted out of the skirmish.
Ko lo ngquzulwano ke ibe lilishwa ke uba kube naloo nto uba kufe umuntu okanye abantu.
And I'm saying these same protesters are the same protesters you were part of. Even though you were not there, it is clear that you were not there when this happened. Are we agreed?
Really don't understand your question. Feels like there's 10 questions in that one statement.
Mr. Rampella, let me ask one question and not 10 questions. So please ask the one question and then we can. If we get an answer, or even if we don't get an answer, I'm afraid we must then stop.
Okay.
Please put the question.
The question is, if you agreed with the cause of the strikers, you would agree that there would be mistakes by the strikers. And if those mistakes happen, then as one of them, you should apologize.
Uba ngabe uvumelana ke nesizathu solikhanqalazo sabasebenzi labasebenzi bakhalele lento abayikhala imfuno ezabo ufanele ba uyavuma ba kuzawuba nempazamo apha xa mane khanqalazo xa ngabe kuba nempazamo ke ezithile ufanele ba uzimisela ba uzawucelela uxolo ezompazamo nizenzileyo kwi-course le yenu xa niqhuba le nto yezi.
Chairperson,
andikuva tu noba uyabheka ngaplo mbuzo.
Chairperson, I wish to object to the question on the following basis.
I've already given a ruling on the matter. Do you want to
No, this is a different question.
You thought it, sorry?
This is a different
I
question.
see. All right. Let's hear your objection.
You gave a ruling to my objection
I
before I made it.
Mr. Mpofu, do me a favor. Listen to what I say. I said let's hear your objection.
Okay. The basis for the objection is that
the objection is first, and then you can give me the basis.
Then, yes. Thank you. The basis for the objection is that what now the witness is being asked to do is that on the basis of his having been one of the strikers, he must apologize for some undefined mistakes or all mistakes that all the 3,000 strikers might have committed, I suppose, between the 10th and the 16th of August, or the 9th, or even, maybe even longer. And there is no basis to suggest whatsoever that this witness would have been answerable for all or any of the mistakes of those 3,000 people, some of whom he never even knew. And therefore, it is illogical to, without creating that link, as it were, or the basis for that duty, to then ask him to apologize for all those people for all the mistakes that they may or may not have committed. But what is more, the Mr. Rampela's clients, he has not laid the basis, or at least the one that he's talking about now, to suggest that this witness, or anybody for that matter, sponsored or instructed or allowed, or whatever word of association one can use, the said calamity that they faced.
I didn't understand the question to suggest that the witness is directly answerable, nor is it necessary for him to lay a basis. He just asked a question, but the objection is disallowed. You may ask the question, and then we'll get the answer, and that will be the end of your cross-examination, Mr. Rampela.
Mr. Rampela ubuze lo mbuzo sifumana impendulo sibe siqobile.
Mr. Nzuza, you are identified with a cause. It was not an easy cause.
Uyabandekanyeka kulento abasebenzi bebeyikhalela siyonto ilula lena. Alwela imfuno zabo ndithi. Siyayazi ba siyonto ilula.
Do you agree?
And it?
I
don't understand the question.
Mr. Rampela, you're getting nowhere putting the question this way.
Yes. Thank you, Chair.
Let me put the question that you're asking. Even though Mr. Rampela does not suggest that you are answerable for what the people did who were responsible for the death of his client's breadwinner, he wants to know whether, because broadly speaking you supported the cause of the strike and these acts were done in the course of the strike, whether you are prepared to apologize. Is that a fair summary of your question? What's your answer to that?
Usihlalo zama umncede Mr. Rampela ngalombuzo uthi noba nje singayibeke emagxeni akho lento yenzekileyo elishwangisho lenzekileyo kwabantu kwafa abantu kodwa ke kuyingxenye yesi strike kwaba nengxaki ke ezenzekileyo kwafa abantu nawo ubukhona kwesi strike uhambisana naso uzimisele na ucelela uxolo into yenzekileyo xa kuqhutshekwa qhanqalazwa ngabasebenzi ubunabo benilwela into enye nabo
andova tu lo mbuzo busingisebe ndixolisa kwintoni enziweyo endenzileyo.
Really don't understand where this question is leading to what must I apologize to?
I think we can assume that the answer to the question is no. That's the end of your cross-examination. We'll now take the first comfort break for 15 minutes.
Thank you. That concludes.